I was recently doing some coaching when I asked the athletes, I said, how are you liking this new approach? And their response kind of hit me, it was a jab. It said, we'll see. This now opened up some new thoughts for me. This response really let me reflect on something real. It once again is not just concepts that we can write down in a notebook that we get treated like school, right? The mental training seems to be almost like that so often. It is about this real time application. Even though we at the Athlete's Health and inside this mental performance playbook, we're so in on the applicable pieces. Even when I was doing this coaching, it was a little more school based. We were going to go do some drills right after it, but it was still, we'll see, right? It is not school. It is a weight room for the mind. It's that film session for your decision making. We do not just study, we train, we implement, and we adjust. So that day, we did not just talk about mental toughness. We did not just examine it, but we practiced it as soon as we got over it. And that really got me to thinking, does when and where does the mental game really matter the most? Because it is not just theory, but it's real, it's raw, and it shows up in those most critical moments. So today we're going to break down 4 instances that I see the mental game being a major factor that makes the biggest impact, and how we can train them just like we train our body and our skills for those situations. Hey, y'all, welcome to the Mental Performance Playbook, where we are breaking down elite mental strategies and delivering these actionable exercises that you can go and apply immediately. My name is Gabe Rummel, mental performance coach, founder of the Athlete's Health, and creator of our Phronoic Gym of mental exercise progressions, where we are training your mind just like we train your body. Each week, we focus on a mental performance theme that's going to help the athletes, a coach, a parent, with these practical tools to build that stronger focus, resilience, that confidence to handle the pressure. And this week's theme is when and where the mental game matters most, specifically in sports, athletics, but any of our performances. So without further ado, let's dive in. In the first category that I want us to talk about, and we have a different little layout for this, we're going to talk about a main instance. We're going to talk about the typical reaction, a mental training impact that it has on it, and then a mental exercise that we could implement right away on top of the physical work that we're already doing to level up our game. So first one is handling those personal mistakes, right? We make a mistake, we make an error on the field, on the court, on the track. It's going to get us, it's going to make us a little frustrated. It's going to make us dwell on that error. We're going to lose the focus. We're going to lose our concentration. Our performance is going to go down because of this one error, right? So what happens when we make that error when we're not mentally training? But if we mentally train, right, we can have a different view of this. Okay, we can view those mistakes as immediate feedback, right? We have to reset quickly because of that, right? Make sure it doesn't happen again. Just like we're lifting weights in the weight room, mistakes can be some heavy weight. But with the mental strength, with mental exercise, with these things that we can learn from, or if we take this as immediate feedback, we can still lift them off. We can max out and be stronger than that mistake. And the awesome thing, opposed from actual weightlifting, is we can just keep evolving this mental strength. We don't have to actually max out at a certain spot. Yeah, we might mess up pretty bad, and then that might have some other consequences. But we go do it one more time, we don't make the same mistake again, we actually go do it, all of a sudden we're hitting new max outs for this. So what I want us to do, and we're going to kind of fly through these today, but I want them to be pretty actionable here, is have that next play mindset. This is our mental exercise, but it's more than just that common phrase of a next play mindset. This is a 5-second reset drill, right? The error happens, the mistake happens. Visualize the mistake as a film clip, right? It's in your head. Visualize it, okay? Analyze it, rewind, analyze again, rewind, see what you can need to do better. See that play in the head, in that film that's playing in the head, producing the right way, and then snip, cut it out of the film. You got the new mentally correct film in the head. So next time we're in this situation, that next play mindset, we're ready to crack a lack, get going, hit a dinger, crush a home run, and win. Number 2, is facing tough opponents and adversity. Oh, this is hard. Each level we reach, right, in the video game is someone harder. We have to learn how to beat them. We have to learn their strengths, their weaknesses. We have to be able to perform and adapt at that new level that we reached, right? Because we beat one level, it's not like the game's over. There's always another level. Or at least those are the games that I like to play. So we do face a new opponent, a little bit more adversity, right? A tough challenge. That anxiety is going to come in. But when we break that down, what are we looking at? Well, a lot of times we're looking at their strengths and comparing it to our weaknesses, right? Because we can think about the opponent like, oh, they're so good, but what we're maybe consciously or subconsciously thinking, okay, their strengths are this, and this. That like lines up with my weaknesses, this, and this. Because we love flight or fight. We love to get a little scared and see what we don't want to do to stay in our comfort zone right now, right? So, but if we get this mental training going, we can focus that shift to studying our own game plan, to maximizing our own strengths, to exploiting their weaknesses. So then all of a sudden, we see it a little differently. Now we flipped that switch. So we can be mapping this one out. This is a strength map that I like to see because we need the map, because we need the vision, because we need to climb up to our next mountaintop, our next milestone with the stepping stones along the way. We need to map it out. This is our strength mapping where we can write down our 3 core strengths. And not only that, because, yeah, okay, hey, find your strengths, put them down. Okay, yeah, thanks. Okay, I got the strengths. But game plan this, right? Map this out, draw it in detail, how this strategically lines up against the opponent's tendencies, their game plan, how they usually play. We're not just in a game against ourselves here, which we're working on that one. We're not just in, it's just not just a game. It's a battle, right? This is war every time we line up against another team. And in those moments, we might shake hands before and after, but it's survive out there. It is win. And to do that, we go into war, we got to look at the enemy's weaknesses, not just their strengths, and get ourselves in our own head. So that's number 2. Number 3 is performing under pressure. Huge topic. Huge topic. I know. Overthinking, fear of failure, tightening up when we're tensing because we're stressed, and that pressure, it weighs on our shoulders. So we pull those shoulders up just to try and hold that pressure up. There's a lot of other stuff that we can do with this, okay? Because we don't ever really think about learning it, how to go with it, how to use it, how to perform under that pressure. We just go out there and do and hope for the best. Hope our instinct takes over. But there's more that we can do for this. It's about building the familiarity when the pressure surmounts, when it reaches the summit. Oopsies. So when that pressure is there, it really does feel normal. That is ultimately how we can perform under the pressure. It's just like when you hear about 2 teams reaching a championship or 2 individual wrestlers reaching the next level. Maybe it's the championship. Maybe it's the semifinals. Okay, it's whatever level. One person has been there, one team has been there, one person has not. It's pretty hard to practice under that level of pressure. So you can't perform there. So sometimes, now there could be ways to replicate it, right? But sometimes you have to just try and perform under that pressure, lose, so then you know what it's like. You have that familiarity built. That's that mental training for this. But if we want to have an exercise for this, we need the pressure simulation. And this is where we got to replicate, oh my goodness, that pressure, the scenarios in practice. Maybe this is wrestling someone in a higher weight class. Maybe it's like how they do train MMA, make it longer rounds, make it more rounds, sub people in and out. So the person training gets just super tired up against fresh people every time. It's different per sport, right? And while that still is a physical side, that might be one of the best ways, besides just visualizing it, to perform under the pressure and get ourselves ready, because then we can add on all these other mental exercises. So if we know the reasoning we're doing it, right? That 3 reps at the max intensity to simulate the real game stakes, and we see that's what we're doing, we'll go after it more. We won't just be going through the motions, but we see why, and we keep pushing because we can see that. We can see how we're handling that pressure weighing down on the shoulders, so we can perform under it. That ties us to our last one of bouncing back from adversity is the fourth big topic I see in the athletics and performance in sports, and where mental toughness is needed and when it is needed. Because when we have some adversity, some challenges, we lose that confidence, right? That negative self-talk comes in. We get disengaged, we back off, we don't practice as much. Sometimes we dig in more deep. But in this instance, when we lose the confidence, and that negative self-talk is there and it's snowballing. It just goes. And then we are not being planned doing what we know we can do. But there is some stuff that we can do it. There's some mental training that we can apply to this, and it's resilience. Have that resilience be created through some recovery strategies and controlled recovery strategies at that. So what do I mean by that? These can be our reset techniques. There's a lot of teams and athletes starting to know about this, but at a different perspective than just reset or forget about it or breathe, right? There's endless ones. So if we have the time, we can do 2 minutes of some deep breathing or some visualizing with it, or a reset with a drink, as in some cold water. Maybe it's food, maybe it's something we say to someone. But this is a controlled recovery protocol. Just like you have a protocol if someone gets hurt, or at home you might have a protocol before you mow, or you got to take the trash out. You have something that you do. You know it's set in stone. This is what we want to do when that adversity does come. We want to lean on this protocol. So we know this is what we're going to walk through. We know this is how we're going to do it, how we're going to keep going. It's like when you wake up on the wrong side of the bed and it's just feeling off and you're like, oh man, can't do anything. But if we have that protocol in place of this is the step we're going to take, then this step, then that step, which is why I said maybe we say one thing to ourselves, we physically emotion. If that emotion is just riling us up, we can do energy in motion. We want to take a couple steps. We take a couple steps. Then we tie that with maybe a couple deep breaths paired with it. Maybe something that we say to ourselves. Maybe it's seeing something. Endless options. It can help us battle back from adversity, from that confidence that we lost, from the snowballing thoughts, from the disengagement. We create the resilience through the controlled, because we're controlling it, recovery strategies. I know we went fast through these, but I want to run through one more time, just the main 4 instances that I see mental toughness is really, really needed. Number 1 is handling personal mistakes. Number 2 is facing tough opponents and adversity. Number 3 is performing under pressure. And number 4 of today is bouncing back from adversity. We'll stumble upon these at some point, some way, shape, or form in our performance, in our athletics, in our sports. If we know what the typical reaction is, we can know that, okay, this is what we're looking for. This is what we might see if we're facing these situations. And we know the mental training that we are implementing beforehand. Like now, when we start watching this, take one of these at least. Just take one of them. Right? I always try and say with any athlete I work with, take one away, implement it. Use the exercises, train, get the reps, and build that mental strength. So when this comes, your mental training impact is there. And you can handle the situation and you can handle the reaction that's typical. And we can actually keep leveling up through the game, through our performance. So when the stakes are high and the mental games matter most, we have to use this stuff. That is when the mental games matter the most. If it's responding to mistakes, facing tough opponents, thriving under the pressure, bouncing back from adversity, the mind, the mental game, this is our strongest asset. We can make sure that doesn't bend or break before anything else does if we train. We can continuously increase that max by just continuously going for it and having the support systems around it. So just like the weight room builds the body, these mental exercises build our resilience and focus. If you want to level up your mind, want to train that mental game like you train your body, head over, check out The Athlete's Health, www.theathleteshealth.com. Check out our Phenoic gym, do some of our mental strengths finders, but take some of these exercises, implement them into your everyday. And I'll catch you next week. Actually, Thursday for our guest episode on the Mental Performance Playbook brought to you by The Athlete's Health. I'm Gabe Rummel. Peace.